G'day everybody, it's Dan here at Pilates with Dan with the next installment of our homework videos for our YouTube channel. So this term we have a term dedicated to the mighty Swiss ball. And so the homework videos that we'll be doing and the homework sheets that you'll get at, via email, there will be two different sorts, okay? So if you don't own a Swiss ball or don't want to do a Swiss ball workout at home, there'll be a non-Swiss ball class for you, okay? And we'll have a video for that as well. And that's for both the continuing and continuing plus levels, okay? If you do have a Swiss ball and want to continue some of the work that we do in the studio here at home, use this video, okay? So this will be the Swiss ball video, okay? So as normal, the homework sheets are designed to reflect what we do inside the studio to enhance your experience and to continue building your strength and your skill, okay? Because we want to build up those skills. All right, so the homework sheet for the Swiss ball class, Swiss ball homework sheet, okay? So this is for continuing level, okay? Oh, that's a mouthful. Okay, so starting off, we've got a special angle today because you need to use a wall. If you've got a Swiss ball, you're going to need to use the wall at a certain point, okay? So that's why we've got the side-on angle. So you can hopefully be able to see that side-on angle very nicely there. Okay, so what I want you to do is when you're sitting on your Swiss ball, you should be fairly comfortable and your knees shouldn't end up being higher than your hips, okay? So it may mean you need to inflate the Swiss ball a little bit more. In the studio, we don't fill up the Swiss balls too much. We don't want it to be too firm. We want a little bit of give. I just find it a bit more comfortable. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Okay, but when selecting your size of Swiss ball, when you're sitting on it like I am now, the knee joint shouldn't be up above the hip joint. Okay, so that's the best indicator for size. And the flip side too is it shouldn't be almost like you're practically standing. Okay, you want to be comfortably seated. Okay, now to start off with our homework sheet, we're going to be sitting on top of the Swiss ball, and I just want you to start to move your pelvis. Okay, so kind of reflecting on what we've done in the last term about hips and pelvis, we just want to create some movement. So what I want you to do is I want you to imagine that the Swiss ball is now sitting on top of the face of a clock. Okay, so 12 is in front, 6 is behind, 3 and 9. Okay, so all I want you to do is just roll the ball towards the 12 and then around towards the 3 and round to the 6 and round to the 9, back to the 12. Okay, so we're going around the clock with the Swiss ball, and you can possibly hear the Swiss ball just making a little noise. That's okay. Okay, and what I'm hoping you can see is that the upper body is staying fairly stable and the motion is all sort of below the rib cage. Okay, so this is where we get to explore how our pelvis and lower back are moving today. And then you go in the opposite direction. And you may find one direction is a lot easier than the other. Okay, that's totally normal, because quite often we're very much one-sided creatures, okay? And I feel today I'm a little bit tighter on that left-hand side, which is normal for me. You might be tighter on the right side, you might be tighter at the back or the front, okay? Just knowing where things are in space can help give you more information about how your body's moving today. Okay, after we've done about 10 each direction there, we're going to be laying down now for more of the serious work, okay? So what I want you to do is position yourself on a mat and your feet are going to be on the Swiss ball. Okay. Now you can position it up against the wall, that's okay. Okay. It will give you a good reference point, because what we're trying to start to do is work through the back of the legs, the hamstrings, into our pelvic curls. You're going to inhale to prepare, and as per normal, we like to move on the exhale here in the studio. Exhale to roll it up, Now the beautiful thing about the Swiss ball is that you can get way higher than you normally would, okay? Exhale to roll it back down. The instability of the Swiss ball is providing the work, the interesting work that we're focusing on this term. That instability and how your body reacts to it. Way. Inhale, hold. Exhale, roll it back down. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, coming up. Inhale, hold. Exhale, roll it back down. Now, if you feel like you don't want to go up as high, that's okay. Part of this is exploring how the body's moving, where its strengths and weaknesses lie. This is the last one here. And rolling it back down. Good. Okay. Now, from there, we're going to hold on to the magic, keep calling it the magic ball, the Swiss ball there, it's very magical. We're going to float the legs up one at a time, flex the feet. We're going into our supine spine twist. So this is a similar movement we've done in the past where we've held a magic circle or a log. It's just allowing you to focus the movement on the pelvis, exhale to the center, while taking the arms away from the floor. Okay, so sometimes with the supine spine twist, in an effort to go further, we get a little bit too involved in our upper bodies. Here, I just want to draw your focus back to the pelvis, back to our torso, back to our midsection, focusing on what's happening through there. Exhale to the center. Inhale to tip. Exhale to the center. We'll just do one more each way. Exhale, center. And exhale, back to the center. Good. Now, the next section I find very interesting because we're going to do the chest lifts and hulas with legs out straight. Okay, so we're going to come up into a chest lift, and as you're going, I want you to focus on what's happening through the pelvis. The Swiss ball will give you feedback if you're leaning to one side or the other. But the other thing I want you to watch for is not letting the pelvis tuck. So the pelvis is staying very stable, and we're focusing our movement into our upper torso. Exhaling, coming up. Inhale down. Last one. Exhale, coming up. Hold this position here. Now you're going to hula. Exhale to turn. Inhale, center. Turn and center. And again, the Swiss ball will give you feedback. If you're turning too far, your pelvis will start to move, and the Swiss ball will kind of roll to one side. Exhale to turn, inhale, center. Exhale to turn, inhale, center. Rest it down, reach the hands up towards the ceiling. We're going to go into the 100, keeping the legs as they are. Inhale to prepare, exhale coming forwards, hold your position, start your beats. Now your goal is to try and keep the magic circle, there we go, again, magic circle. Keep the Swiss ball very stable. Maybe should we just call it the magic globe or the magic ball instead of Swiss ball. You watch. How many times do I say magic circle today, or in our class this week, instead of Swiss ball? Let's do 3 more breaths. Last breath. And hold it still. Rest all the way down. And resting. So from there, so that's a little bit of your warm up there that we're going to do in the classes. Then here comes the fun stuff, okay? So this is what you've all been waiting for. I know, because you've been telling me all week. I've been looking forward to the Swiss ball classes. That's what you've been saying. Okay, so the position. So we're going to do some standing leg work. We're going to do 3 different positions. I want you to stand, first of all, to get the right placement of everything, is position the apex of the ball just on your sacrum at your back. So you're not sitting in the low back. Can you see that side on? You're not sitting in the low back there. You bring it down a little bit further. So it's just above your bum crack, basically. Okay. Then from there, I want you to take a step forward and make it a step your foot length. Okay. And the result of that now is that you're kind of leaning a little bit into the ball. Okay. Now, in doing so, what I don't want you to do is kind of let the spine collapse or let your bum collapse there, okay? So you're staying upright. So here to here, there isn't that much difference. Okay, now your feet are just one hand width apart, so the width of your hand, okay? So this is the first of the positions. It's very reminiscent of some of the stuff we do on the reformers and the chairs and the Cadillac. Okay, we quite often have 5 different positions. In class we'll be doing 5, but in your homework sheet just 3, okay? So you're going to start off with the feet in parallel, and I like hands on hips because it looks awesome. You're going to inhale to prepare, and as you do so you're going to bend your knees. Now the great thing about this is you can determine how low you go, all right? So, as with everything we do in the studio, I'm not a big fan of moving in pain. Being aware of pain is cool and accepting pain is good, but if you move in pain, you'll tend to avoid the range of motion. So what I want you to do is go as low as you feel comfortable, till probably the lowest I want you to go is kind of about here, okay? Exhale, bring it back up. Inhale to go down, exhale, going back up. The thing that we'll be focusing on in your classes over the next few weeks is how the feet are reacting to the movement and whether or not you can feel your whole foot on the floor, or does your body do an adjustment where you kind of lose contact with one side of your foot, or you feel the weight more in the heels or the toes? Exhale, pushing up. Inhale down. Exhale, pushing up. The other thing that we'll talk about in the studio is what's happening through your spine as you do this. So things to avoid is, as you're bending down, don't let the bottom stay on the ball, okay? So that from side on, it's just a straight line, or as straight as you can be. Inhale down, exhale up. I've totally lost count, so I think that's right. So the second position is you're going to take a half step back. So there's half the distance of your feet, and you lift the heels up. You keep the heels lifted and do the same movement, okay? So it's an inhale down, exhale up. I'll start counting 1. Inhale down, exhale up. 2. Everything else is the same. 3. and 4. We're going to do 8, okay, and 5, and 6. Try and keep that spine straight, and 7. So you're around about now, you're starting to get a bit warmed up through the legs, and 8. Hold your position. Now squeeze the heels together. So this is our V, Pilates V position. Inhale to bend, exhale, push up. Exhale, push up. Because deep down I know there's a ballet dancer in all of us. Exhale, coming up. We'll do 3 more. 2. The last one. And 3. Good. Rest the heels down. Okay, so that exercise will become quite familiar by the end of the term. Okay, now, a couple of cool things to do at home. And in a Pilates context, very important. So, some balance work. So, your standing position, you go back to that standing V. So right now my left leg is in the V position. My right leg's going to be parallel. Now hands come back behind the head, just to give you a sense of reference of what your skull is doing. You're going to roll the ball away and roll it in, lifting the heel up. Roll away and lifting it in. Okay, it's one of those exercises that looks quite easy, but until you start doing it, you don't know where your balance is on any given day, I find. So you might feel, oh, I've got this, no worries, and then suddenly the ball's rolling all over the place. Your aim is to roll the ball straight out and straight in. About 10 times. And bring it back in. Then switch, we'll do the other side. I think this is an important skill to do, because balancing on one leg as an adult, we don't get asked to do it very often. Any of you with kids at home, young ones, will see that your kids do it all the time. And it's an important skill to have, but I also think it's an important skill to maintain. So it's one of the reasons why in many of our classes there will be an element of this action, where one leg goes away and in. If you think about the hip and pelvis term that we've just had, that hip flexion, extension, flexion, these are patterns that you'll see time and time again. I'm sure that's 10 now. Good, I'm resting it there. All right, now the final movement of your Swiss ball homework sheet for the Swiss ball term is a little back extension. So what I want you to do is position yourself so the heels are together, toes are apart, and the Swiss ball should fit in between your legs there. Okay, so it's just sitting there in between your legs. And what I want you to do is you're going to be laying on your tummy on top of the Swiss ball. Okay, and we want you to be as rounded as you can be. Okay, so laying on your tummy. Okay, now what I want you to do is I want you to find those back extensor muscles and extend up through the spine and back down. Up through the spine and back down. Notice I've got my bottom up against the wall. If you find that's quite simple and you're looking for a little bit more of a work, and we'll discuss this in the studio, we can do the same thing with the legs extended out. Okay, so this time the heels and feet are up against the wall and we're down. The knees are still bent a little bit, it gives you more control. Okay, and you're going to extend out and back down. Inhale to extend, exhale to release. One more time, and exhale to release. Good. Okay, so there you have it. Some work to do at home with the Swiss ball. And as I said before, if you don't feel like doing a Swiss ball version, we'll have another video for you that incorporates some of the movements that we do in the studio with the Swiss ball term, but without the Swiss ball. Okay, good luck with your practice, and I'll see you soon.